Hello and welcome to another live edition of VTV News right here on VTV International. My name is Ming Hang and now let's get started with the headlines we have for you. 112 Chinese ships since around the illegal oil rig. Ministers of Finance continues Q&A sessions talking about public debts and trading activities with China. And a Poland-Vietnam Business Forum eyes on green technologies. Now let's get started with the updates on the current situation in the EC. On Wednesday, China continued to keep a large fleet of ships around the Haiyang Shiyou 981 oil rig, which has been unlawfully installed in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf since early May. Of this fleet, 6 vessels are warships. During the day, the Vietnamese Coast Guard twice approached the drilling rig from the south at a distance of 8.5 to 10 nautical miles. At its closest approach, the Coast Guard protested the Chinese presence there and recorded footage of the Chinese ship's activity. Vietnamese Coast Guard ship's number 4032 noticed that the rig has been lowered and was surrounded by several boarded vessels. Of the 6 warships out of the 112 Chinese vessels, 2 were missile escort ships, 2 were blitzkrieg ships, and 2 were mine detector ships. These warships were accompanied by several Coast Guards and security craft. Chinese vessels number 32101 came as close as 100 meters from the Vietnamese Coast Guard ships 4032, that is, Chinese fishing ships coordinating with 2 of the Coast Guard ships, surrounded and blocked Vietnamese fishing ships 35 miles southwest of the drilling rig. Vietnamese law enforcement authorities maintained their intensive activities close to the rig and demanded once again that China stop their illegal actions and remove the oil rig immediately from Vietnam's waters. Now, the United Nations has registered its support of Vietnam's stance on settling the EC dispute by peaceful means in line with the UN Charter and international law. This was confirmed by the presidents of the ongoing UN General Assembly sessions, John Ash, during his meeting with the Vietnamese ambassador Lê Hoài Trung, head of the Vietnamese missions to the United Nations at the UN headquarters in New York on Tuesday night.
Vietnamese Ambassador Lê Hoài Trung took this opportunity to give a detailed report to the President of the United Nations General Assembly on recent developments in the EC. The UN General Assembly President expressed his concern and appreciated Vietnam's peaceful approach, which is in accordance with the UN Charter and international law. He affirmed that the United Nations is closely monitoring the situation and is ready to help both sides sit down at the negotiation table.
Even for what they have done illegally over the last 10 years, we have protested against them. We have, on a number of occasions, we asked to see them at the expert level to launch our protest. On some occasions, at vice ministerial level, we also sent notes to them to register our protest. And also we have also sent notes, diplomatic notes to them. We have also had our spokesman or spokeswoman speak about the issue. So we did register our protest, but this time we also have to be resolute because it has become even more serious.
On June the 8th, China sent a note to the United Nations stating that Vietnam had violated China's sovereignty and had negatively affected the normal activities of a Chinese company. In response to this statement, the Vietnamese ambassador told reporters from AP and Nikkei news agencies that China's activities were unlawful.
I think that the big one coming from Vietnam is that they want to resolve the issue peacefully, that all the ships they've sent to the area have not been military ships, and that dialogue is open between the 2 countries, but that they're very firm in their stance that the Paracel Islands and the surrounding water is in their EEZ and their continental shelf and is their territory, and that China does not have the right to be drilling there.
Vietnam has dispatched civilian boats to carry out law enforcement tasks. Meanwhile, China has deployed warships to the area. Furthermore, in a bid for a total transparency, Vietnam has invited foreign reporters, including Chinese ones, to come and verify for themselves what is happening in this area.
In its most recent resolutions, the International Associations of Democratic Lawyers, or IADL, requested that China provide a clear explanation as to why it has placed the oil-rich Haiyang Shiyou 981 in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. The associations called upon China, as a member of the United Nations and one of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, to fully respect, comply with, and uphold the United Nations Charter. The association's honorary president, Jitendra Sharma, who is currently on a working visit to Vietnam, urged China to respect international law and refrain from complicating the situations in the EC. The IADL added that any escalations of tensions in the region would pose a threat to security and safe navigations in the EC. In related developments, the International Francophonies Organization sent a diplomatic note to the Vietnamese permanent missions to UNESCO in Paris, calling on all parties to resolve tensions through peaceful solutions and dialogue on the basis of international law. Earlier, UNESCO also sent a diplomatic note to the Vietnamese permanent missions, voicing its concern over the escalating EC's tensions. Now, a Vietnamese delegation led by Deputy Foreign Minister Phạm Quang Vinh has been attending a series of events, including the ASEAN senior official meetings, the East Asia Summit, the ASEAN Regional Forum, and the ASEAN-US Dialogue held in Yangon, Myanmar. During these events, the escalating tensions in the EC topped the agenda. VTV interviewed Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Phạm Quang Vinh right after these discussions ended.
Thưa Thứ trưởng,
could you share with us the viewpoints of ASEAN members and partners in the current situation in the EC during your meetings in Myanmar?
It was clear at these meetings that all participating countries are concerned over the tensions and complications in the EC. They also put great emphasis on the need for restraint and compliance with international laws, the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea, or UNCLOS, and the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the EC, or DOC. Many countries raised objections to the use of unilateral measures, coercive acts, and the use of force to claim sovereignty. Participants also expressed their expectations of building a peaceful, stable environment with security and maritime safety in the EC. Their biggest worry is the complications that have occurred since China deployed the Haiyang Shiyou 981 oil rig and vessels, and they want this issue to be solved immediately.
At the 27th ASEAN-US Dialogue, ASEAN representatives once again raised their serious concerns over the current situation in the EC. What was the US reaction to this?
First of all, the U.S. agreed with ASEAN viewpoints, especially the statements of ASEAN foreign ministers on May 10th about what is going on in the EC. Secondly, the U.S. said that it has held conversations with many countries, including China, to express its concerns and expectations of maintaining peace and stability in the region. Thirdly, the U.S. has called for ASEAN and China to complete the Code of Conduct in the EC, or COC, and stop complicating the situation in the area. It stated that the country does not take sides in this dispute over territorial sovereignty, but affirm its national interest related to maritime safety and security in the EC.
Through the series of ASEAN summits of senior officials, what was Vietnam's most important message?
Vậy thì cái thông điệp lớn nhất mà Việt Nam muốn truyền tải đến các hội nghị lần này là gì?
Vietnam's views and policies on the EC issues have been made clear. Vietnam has clearly proved China's violations. Vietnam's foreign policies is always focused on protecting the sovereignty and maintaining dialogue with China, as well as resolving any issues according to international laws. At this summit, we highlighted our policy to other countries, including China, and asked China to withdraw its oil rig from Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. This will help maintain regional peace and stability as well as relieve current tensions.
Thank you very much for the interview. Now, according to its strategic targets towards 2020, Vietnam aims to become a strong maritime nation capable of harnessing its marine resources. To achieve these targets of international economic integration, Vietnamese authorities are boosting marine research in the East Seas and promoting more international cooperations in this field.
These images were taken on a research field trip around the Spratly Islands. The studies conducted by researchers from the Institute of the Marine Environment and Resources show coral reefs hundreds of kilometers long, as well as over 300 rare species of animals and plant species, thus making it one of the most biodiverse areas in the Asia-Pacific region. As a result of this research, the Institute of the Marine Environment and Resources has proposed the creation of 15 marine reserves on the area surrounding the Spratly Islands.
The reserves have three purposes: to protect the biological diversity of the area, to monitor and maintain fish stocks for the fishermen, and to mark Vietnam's sovereignty.
Over the years, the research results of Vietnamese maritime scientists has been published in many notable international journals. Vietnamese research institutions are also focusing on cooperation with other countries and foreign organizations. The work being done on this Russian ship is one such example.
We have signed contracts of both bilateral cooperation and multilateral cooperation with foreign partners in maritime research. The Ministry of Science and Technology is organizing a state-level program of scientific research on maritime resources and the environment. We are doing our best to support scientists in their research.
As well as gaining scientific knowledge with practical applications, the marine research being carried out by Vietnamese scientists can also help the nation protect its sovereignty, as this information is recognized by the international community.
Still to come on VTV News, Ministers of Finance answers National Assembly deputy questions and concerns on public debts, tax breaks, and trade relations with China. And Poland-Vietnam Business Forum's eyes on green technologies. Do stay tuned. VTV News will be right back.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News live from Hanoi. Now, earlier on Wednesday, National Assembly deputies resumed their Q&A sessions with Ministers of Finance Dinh Tiên Dũng regarding matters related to the financial sectors. On the table were issues related to improper management of public investment, tax breaks, transfers pricing, public debts, and trade relations with China. National Assembly deputies expressed concerns over the nation's capacity to pay public debt, especially in the current adverse economic and political context, and deputies asked if the Ministries of Finance has come up with solutions to deal with these issues.
According to your report, the minister has issued instructions to increase the state budget to pay off the public debt. Given the ongoing tensions in the East Sea, economic growth could be affected. What would be your response to this? We may need to tighten expenses and join hands to commit the target. The National Assembly should also ratify this resolution to speed up the process.
In view of China's deployment of the Haiyang-Shuyou 981 oil rig in Vietnamese waters, the minister also faced questions regarding Vietnam's economic dependence on China.
Vietnam's debts to China are not too high. In terms of stock, Chinese investment in Vietnam stock exchanges only account for 0.33%. That is not a big figure. Economic cooperation between Vietnam and China is law-based. In case of loss, both countries have to suffer. So Vietnam is not economically dependent on China.
In order to balance incomes and expenses and the country's ability to pay the debts, Minister Dung also recommended that the National Assembly support solutions to mobilize capital to restructure domestic debt. Also on Wednesday, at a Q&A sessions of the National Assembly, the Ministers of Education and Training, Phạm Vũ Luận, was grilled on matters of educational quality, reforms, and a review of examinations methods. Minister Luận explains that Vietnam has seen high unemployment among graduates because educational institutions have designed their syllabi without taking local needs into consideration. Educational modules have lacked a focus on teamwork and language skills. And although institutions have witnessed an increase in the number of students enrolling, there has not been sufficient attention paid to the educational quality of these courses. To solve the problem, the ministry has limited the numbers of new colleges and intensified vocational orientation. Still with the National Assembly updates, National Assembly deputies questions Ministers of Justice Ha Hung Kuang on Wednesday over the handlings of pending documents and the lack of adequate trainings for judicial officers. Minister Kuang admitted that there remains shortcomings in the judicial sector's human resources development. However, he said that the ministry has paid due attention to this matter. A National Academy of the Judiciaries has been established to satisfy the national demands for qualified judicial officers. Minister Kuang revealed that as of June 10 this year, 50 judicial documents were still pending publication, accounting for 19.9% of the total documents to have been promulgated since 2011. He promised that the Ministry of Justice would redouble its efforts in addressing these outstanding issues to ensure the best interests of businesses and people.
Đăng tải trên cổng thông tin điện tử 60 ngày.
Green Evolt, a project run by the Polish Ministries of Environment aimed at promoting innovative environmental technologies in foreign markets, will be implemented in Vietnam. This information was released at a Poland-Vietnam Business Forum held by the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industries, or VCCI, along with other related agencies from Poland. The forum will last until this Saturday, June the 14th.
Chief among the topics discussed was green technology. This has become a primary concern of enterprises from both countries. Vietnam has taken a proactive stance on this issue and has prioritized sustainable development along with environment protection. The Green Evo project from the Polish Ministry of the Environment enables the national and international promotion of green technology solutions and has drawn the participation of 48 Polish enterprises as well as many other Vietnamese enterprises.
Environment is among top priorities, not by the government only, but also the whole society and the world. We want to take a step forward when operating in environment sector and tighten trade relations with Polish companies. We highly appreciate the opportunities offered by both countries' governments.
These Polish enterprises are promoting environmentally friendly products for the Vietnamese market. Specifically, these environmental solutions include wastewater treatment system, recycling defunct machinery, and using straw briquettes as an alternative to burning fossil fuels such as coal or gas.
We will launch our projects of promoting our natural products like straw briquettes products and farming machineries in the next 2 months. I look forward to cooperating with Vietnamese enterprises.
We decided that Vietnam, as one of those countries in the Southeastern Asia who is developing the fastest, that in Vietnam there is a huge potential to use the renewable energy sources to protect the environment.
In Vietnam, energy-saving appliances that use renewable power sources are becoming increasingly popular. However, at present, these appliances are mostly limited to solar-powered technologies. Through cooperation with Polish enterprises, Vietnam could enhance its sustainable development by providing optimal solutions to industrial processes with a minimal use of energy. This year's forum, with the participation of 50 Polish enterprises to explore investment opportunities here in Vietnam, is the largest yet and shows the determination of Polish enterprises to penetrate the Vietnamese market.
In 2013, two-way trade turnover between the two countries stood at $1.2 billion, with Vietnam running a trade surplus to Poland of $1.1 billion. Despite the low numbers, there remains great potentials. Through discussing channels like this, two-way trade relations between the two countries are expected to be further promoted. Đại Trang for Vietnam Television, Hanoi.
In other news, a memorial space dedicated to Vietnam's late President Ho Chi Minh was unveiled in Khe Son Phong Vi Han District, Savannakhet Province in Laos on Wednesday. Construction of the site began on President Ho Chi Minh's birth anniversary last year, May the 19th. The 1,000 square meters area, which was built at a cost of $300,000, commemorates President Ho's time in Laos when he had worked there from 1928 to 29. The memorial space aims to help people from both countries understand the great period of President Ho for the revolutionary cause. It is also a platform to build upon the special relationships between Laos and Vietnam. The 2014 Summer Book Fair hosted by the Phahasa Book Distributions Company opened in Cần Thơ cities on June the 10th. The book fair is a chance for youngsters and book lovers to explore and enjoy more than 5,000 titles ranging from textbooks and reference books to books in foreign languages and comics. The fair also features new releases and bestsellers with discounts of 5 to 50% for students. The Cần Thơ Summer Book Fair aims to promote a reading culture among the community and will run until the 15th of June. And now it's time we take a look at some online news about Vietnam.
Vietnam Online begins with an article on Fiber to Fashion. Indian ambassador in Vietnam Preeti Saran has proposed enhanced cooperation in the textile sector with Vietnam, according to a statement from Vietnam's Central Economic Committee. During a meeting with Mr. Vương Đình Huệ, head of the Central Economic Committee, Ms. Saran said economic ties between India and Vietnam are not commensurate with the potential of the two countries. She said that Vietnam is a leading textiles exporter to the world markets, but it depends on other countries for inputs, while India is the second largest exporter in the world for raw cotton, yarn, fabric, and other raw materials for textiles. President of the Vietnam-U.S. Association, Nguyễn Tâm Chiến, received a visiting delegation from the American Legion, led by its national commander, Daniel Mitchell-Dellinger, in Hanoi on June 10th. Vietnam Plus reports that the visit will help the members of the Legion to understand more about the land and people of Vietnam, thus contributing to strengthening the friendship between the two countries and helping Vietnam overcome the consequences of war, like Agent Orange dioxin, bombs, and mines. The visit is expected to last until the end of Friday. A travel company by the name of Thiên Minh Group has announced plans to begin offering seaplane tours this September to tap Vietnam's untouched premium travel sector. According to Thanh Niên News, if successful, this is expected to become the first supplier of seaplane tourism services in the country. The company will import two Cessna Caravan 2014 seaplanes in July, which will take off for trial flights a month later. Each can carry from 12 to 18 passengers, and the planes are expected to operate on the Hanoi-Hạ Long Bay route in the first stage before expanding to Phan Thiết, Nha Trang, and Ho Chi Minh cities. Per head ticket could reach $250 for a 30-minute flight.
A United Nations-sponsored anti-corruption project will be carried out for 4 years from now in Vietnam, with a budget of over $1.5 million under a recent decision by Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng. According to an article on Tuổi Trẻ News, of the amount, more than $1.4 million will come from the official development assistance from the UN Development Program, and the rest, $84,000, will be the Vietnamese government's responding capital. The project is aimed at strengthening the government's ability to enforce the UN Convention Against Corruption and enhancing the role of non-state entities in preventing and fighting corruption. As many as 99 new species has been found in Vietnam, according to a World Wide Fund report. The report titled Nature's Mysterious Mekong showed a total of 367 new species had been discovered in the Greater Mekong in 2012 and 2013. BNAMA reports that this region spans Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, and China's southwestern Yunnan province. Among the species newly identified by scientists are 290 plants, 24 fish types, 21 amphibians, 28 reptiles, 1 bird and 3 mammals. The central province of Quảng Ngãi will open the first outdoor Sa Huỳnh Cultural Relic Preservation Complex in Vietnam at the end of this year. Tuổi Trẻ News report that the 20,000 square meter area has been constructed in the area of Đức Phổ district, where the French archaeologist Vinay excavated and discovered 200 jar tombs and many objects related to Sa Huỳnh culture in 1909. Researchers said that Sa Huỳnh culture dates back 3,000 years and its traces are found mainly in Quảng Nam, Quảng Trị and Quảng Ngãi provinces.
And now, as usual, before saying goodbye, let's take a look at our updated weather forecast. And that is all we have for you at this hour. Simply log on to our address at vtv4.vn if you would like to rewatch this program. Thank you very much for tuning in. For now, goodbye from Hanoi.